this individual from Phoenix, Arizona, went to Washington to try to raise some money for one of her Hispanic organizations here locally. Somehow Janet Napolitano found out she was there and called her on the phone. Don't know how. They keep in touch with people, as you know. And said, I would like us to have dinner together. They did, privately, just the two of them. In the course of the meal, Janet Napolitano said to this individual, whom we know, I want to ask you to go back to Phoenix, Arizona. I want you to immediately get 6 months of food and water in your house. And she said, I cannot tell you why. I have only told this to a few of my friends. But she said, I want you to immediately go back and get 6 months of food and water. And she said, well, please tell me, what's the danger? She said, I can't. You just take my word for it. I know what I'm talking about. This was only weeks ago. Now, the first thing on my list is, I beg you, you must prepare for the inevitable. There is no reason for you to suffer because of what the elite are doing. And the first thing on the list would be the recommendation that Janet Napolitano made to this friend of ours. The second thing on the list is, now if you have any doubts whatsoever as to what's going to happen to the stock market, you're bound to realize that when the securities, when the oil goes to $200 a barrel, the securities are worthless. Their timeline in 2012 takes place. Now the stock market is being held up today by the plunge protection team. They never wanted to admit to this up until about 6 months ago. They finally admitted to the plunge protection team. And anytime the stock market starts down, they just go in and bolster it. They'll buy it, they'll do whatever's necessary that day. And the Federal Reserve has literally spent billions of dollars to keep the American stock market up. There is a time at which they will not keep it up any longer. If you have any doubt in your mind whatsoever, go to YouTube, and don't take my word for it. Go to YouTube and find Tony Robbins, T-O-N-Y-R-O-B-I-N-S. Watch his DVD, and you'll definitely do something about it. Secondly, you need cash. You need to have enough to be able to sustain your household for a number of months' time. I'm suggesting maybe 3 months. Not in the bank, not in your checking account. You've got to have it. Cash won't be that much good for too long because they're coming in with a world currency. Mark my words, it's out there. And they already know that it'll be gold-backed from what I'm hearing. But you need to make preparation for your house during that interim period of time. Next, 401ks. Oh my goodness. You notice I'm not the youngest guy in the world. But I feel so much for the retirees of today who have in confidence trusted their Social Security, which has been squandered, and their 401ks that they're losing money in, and their retirement funds that they're not going to have. Rodney, I don't know whether you even have suggestions or not, but...
Well, one thing that I've been telling people in regards to their 401ks is to take their money out of the equities and the bonds that are within the 401k. In other words, in the shelter of a 401k, there are many options that people can choose. One of which is an interest-bearing account. Now, at times, historically speaking, when the interest rates go up, the stock market goes down. And conversely, when the stock market goes up, interest rates go down. We've just seen the end of this particular cycle. So what people need to be doing is contacting the person that is in charge of the 401k, tell them, get me out of the stock market, not tomorrow, get me out now, today, and move my money to where it's safe and earning interest for me. It's better to earn 2% interest on a positive side than it is to lose 70, 80% on the negative side.
Thank you. Next, gold and silver. You haven't seen anything. You think gold and silver prices are high now? You just wait. I know, I can't afford to buy gold anymore. I wish I could because I know where it's going. 6, travel. It is going to be disrupted. When the price of crude oil gets to $200 a barrel, the airlines are going to have major problems. The trucking lines will have problems. You will have problems with the railroads of America. Next, debt. Oh my goodness, people, pay off your debt. Get out of debt. You say, I can't. Well, that's right. Some people can't. You can't pay off that house. Well, you can't. If you can't, you can't. But don't go and put money on that credit card. Don't spend money you don't have. America is going to be facing a crisis that you cannot afford to be in debt. My next suggestion, at any cost, a log cabin is better than a $2 million mansion that has a mortgage on it. You positively must have a roof over your head paid for. I have been told that when the dust has settled, that because the Federal Reserve is bailing out all of the lending institutions, whether it be Fannie, Freddie, the taxpayers bailing out General Motors, Chrysler, the pension funds, everything else, because of what's going to happen to the dollar, eventually, when the dust settles, the Federal Reserve, the elite of the world, will own every mortgage in the United States of America, whether it be commercial or residential. The elite will own every mortgage because they have bailed them out, just as did Chrysler and General Motors, and you will be making your house payment to the Federal Reserve. You don't want this to happen.
In essence, giving them control over all of the property and real estate.
The name of the game is control. I've been saying this for 35 years. It's not money, it's control. Obsessed with it. Again, government. You're going to see more and more government intervention in our lives. It must stop. I don't know how. It cannot be by revolution. It must be peacefully. But there's got to be a change and get government out of our pockets and out of our lives. Again, I don't know what you're going to do, and I hope you'll give some thought to it, and I'll only say 2 words: firearms. Now, do with that what you want to. In a few moments, we're going to have a pastor tell us what we should do spiritually. So I'll leave off that one. He's very apt at what he's doing, and it's a privilege to have a man of God present what people should do today. And I've added one thing to this. Oh, I've actually added 2. Where do you live? I made a survey recently of where the elite live. I was amazed, dumbfounded. I found out where, and I contacted these 2 friends of mine. I said, where does this person and this person, where does this CEO and this person live? Not one single elite has his primary residence in a city. Every one of them have moved away from where they know the problem's going to be. And lastly, you must make preparation for the health care of your household. The health care system is going to have problems along with the other, especially if Mr. Obama exceed with what he wants in Obamacare. You must take preparations for your household. Now, I want to prove to you that the elite, not just the ones I know, but some of the others knew this in advance. Now, I've talked about things that they told me. I've told you things that have happened that they told me, and it came to pass, which I recorded in the past, and it happened exactly like they told me. I'm going to show you one now that I want you to go and do your research on your own. I'm going to give you some homework to do to those out there in the viewing audience. It's called insider trading. There are 2 classifications of people. I'm glad you're nodding your head there. It's a good sign. There are 2 classifications of people that invest in Wall Street. Number 1 is John Q. Public, and number 2 is insider trading. According to the government and the law, they are required to keep records on certain insider trading, which is the CEOs, the corporate heads, the super wealthy, and records have to be kept on what they buy and what they sell. I began records back in September when a friend said something is happening with insider trading on the New York stock market. September the 13th through the 17th, it was 400 to 1. Now let me try to explain to the layman out in the audience. There were 400 insiders who were selling stock in their own companies compared to 1 person that, according to their stockbroker, is following his advice, that was cashing in or doing anything about their stocks. Then, on October the 4th through the, oh, by the way, that's the highest it had ever been in the history of the New York stock market. that 400 to 1. September the 4th through the 8th, we were dumbfounded. It went to 1,600 to 1. Now these are records. You can find it in your computer. Go to the stock market, find it out for yourself. This is record fact. 16 to 100 to 1 that were cashing out of the stock market. I kept records week after week after week. I'm going down for lack of time. November the 15th through the 19th, it was 8,280 to 1 that cashed out and sold their own company stocks and got out of the stock market, and yet the stockbroker was still advising the man on the streets to still buy from Wall Street.
Exactly.
Now I'm coming to the latest records that we have. This is startling beyond words. And if this doesn't tell you everything about the stock that a person holds in the stock market, nothing ever will. January 10 through 14 of this year, 2011, insiders sold $163 million worth of their stock on Wall Street in that 1 7-day period, and for the first time ever in the history of Wall Street, not one single insider bought 1 penny of stock.
Wow.
Where are they putting it?
It's a good question.
I'll prove it to you. I have it right here. Go and look at it. You'll find this in the records of the United States Mint. The United States Mint recorded in the month of December. This is fact. Go on your computer. I beg people to watch this. December, the United States Mint sold 2,221,000 ounces of silver, the highest ever in record. This was startling, and it's scary. Then we come down to the first 12 days of January. 12 days only. First 12 days of January, the United States Mint sold 3,407,000 ounces of silver. Who's buying it? Those people.
Exactly.
The elite. They know what's about to happen. They're bailed out. They could care less about you.
That's right.
Now, not all of the CEOs of companies are parts of the elite. Some of them are, some of them aren't. I just happened, by the providence of God, to have had contact with some way up here that could give me these things. Now, you ready? January. The total month of January 2011, the United States Mint sold 6,400,000 ounces of silver.
Multiply that by $32. That's a lot of money.
Now, who bought it? I can't buy it. I went to a silver dealer the other day and I said I wanted some 1-ounce coins. He said, I'm sorry, I'm sold out. Can't find any. I tried to buy one of those green boxes recently, you know, that the Mint sells it in.
Mm-hmm.
Nowhere. They're non-existent in the area, in the state where I live. I can't buy one. Even if I wanted it, had the money to pay for it, I couldn't buy it. The dealer said, we'll sell you a roll. Maybe. Next week we'll have a few